Hello, and welcome to Global Data Themes Instant Insights. At Global Data, we define a theme as something that keeps a CEO awake at night, as businesses that invest in important themes will succeed, and those that don't will fail. Hello, and welcome to Instant Insights. I'm Emma Taylor, and today I will be talking to thematic analyst Emilio Campa in Thematic Intelligence as part of our Tech in 2030 series. This series is based on our new Tech in 2030 report from Thematic Intelligence, which you can find on the Global Data Report Store or click the link in our bio. All our analysts will be answering questions about the future of their industry and what it will look like in 2030. Today, Emilio will be talking about the future of transport. Hi, Emilio, how are you?
I'm good, thanks for having me. Good to be back on, second time.
It's great to have you. So, Emilio, let's jump straight in there. We know battery metals are in short supply. How will this affect the transport industry in 2030?
So just to give some context to our listeners here, in 2030 we predict that over 27.5 million battery electric vehicles will be produced, but the demand for lithium from light EV production will outstrip the supply of battery-grade lithium by over 2,400 kilotons. Now, this will drive up EV prices and mean that new innovative technologies that rely on batteries or will rely on batteries, such as, electric VTOL engines, flying taxis, that sort of thing, they will be back of the queue. This is going to stall their implementation. It's still going to be a long time before we see that kind of thing in place. Now, it's not just battery metals that we're lacking in. It's also public infrastructure. So when you look at EVs, for example, charging infrastructure is often a key focus of specific government policies, but investment's still lacking. It's highly unlikely that innovative systems like Hyperloop, for example, that require significant investment, will be implemented by 2030 if there aren't even EV charging points.
Right, and so is anything being done to combat these battery metal shortages?
Yeah, so governments have begun kind of subsidising mining and addressing these shortages as well. We kind of predict that lithium-ion battery cell production capacity will grow nearly 5 times from 1.2 terawatt hours in 2022 to 5.8 in 2030. But it's still too little too late. Work should have started on subsidising metal mining several years ago. And it's not just EVs that need this power. So like I mentioned before, flying taxis, EV tolls, all that kind of stuff relies heavily on battery technologies. And if there aren't enough batteries for EVs, there definitely won't be for flying taxis. The little tagline I like to add is, the dream of extensive air taxi fleets won't get off the ground by 2030.
Right, but what about, just generic EVs? Are they likely to be ubiquitous?
It depends on the public charging infrastructure. Maybe the battery stuff will get ramped up in the coming years, but I think public infrastructure is still so far behind. And if public charging points aren't made accessible by 2030, then the increased investment in EV technology is just not going to pay off. And just talking about transport in 2030 in general, there's a lot of hype around these supposedly revolutionary technologies like Hyperloop that Elon Musk has talked about a lot. And their plans to implement it in 2030 rely heavily on entirely new infrastructure. Hyperloop, for example, can't run on standard rail networks. The cost of maintaining the tube and keeping it free of air are unknown. And if EV infrastructure still has been built, how are governments going to justify the astronomical amounts of taxpayer money needed for these new systems?
Right, so the chances of me ordering a flying Uber in 2030 are pretty small.
Yeah, pretty slim.
Well, thank you, Emilio, for those instant insights. Thanks for listening, and from us in Thematic Intelligence, see you next time.